Today we're going to be strategizing about how to go through all of the meals and all of the food that you prep in the summer for the winter. Waste not, want not. And a lot of times I see different videos of people who can and preserve and can and preserve, and they just end up with boatloads of food that really, becomes very old and, they don't really go through it. So one of the things that I do right after Christmas, right after the first of the year, every year, is I kind of take an inventory of what I have. I go through my freezer. I make sure that I'm not, pulling out freezer burned food or what have you. And I kind of make a plan to go through that food, which was there to carry me through the winter. And I utilize every single bite of that before summer comes. So I do a big garden every year. It provides me a ton of vegetables, more than I can eat fresh. So I preserve through freezing and dehydrating. And I try to use a lot of those things throughout the year to supplement my grocery bill. And it really helps. Plus, I've got all my fruit trees. I have 19 fruit trees. And it's a lot. I give fruit to the neighbors and to my friends, to family, and still I can't go through it all. But I do preserve a lot of it. So let me show you some of the things that I have and some of the things I'm going to be going through and just some ideas that I have to utilize that food before the summer comes. So this is my inside freezer, and as you can see, I've got some things that I've put away. Now these things up here are items that are individually cooked and frozen for individual meals. Just makes it super easy. That's what this whole row up here is. I've got green beans and lasagnas. I've got stuffed bell peppers, all kinds of things I can just throw in the oven. And then down below, I actually have some bagged meats and vegetables and all kinds of things there. And then I've got some fruit and some guacamoles down at the bottom. And that's about it for this freezer. This is kind of my working freezer for the things that I pick up at the grocery store. And this is my side-by-side freezer. So this is my second freezer, and as you can see, every freezer I have is completely stuffed with food. But I've got tomatoes from the garden, I've got, brownies, I've got, apple pies that are kind of pre-made, I've got all kinds of vegetables. I think these are zucchinis, baked potatoes, I've got lots of guacamole. I've got some different kinds of fruit and tomato sauce, apricot puree, some individual TV dinners that I made, and again, more tomatoes back there. I've got all kinds of chicken, and I've got lots of figs. I was going to be making some fig Newtons. I've got donuts for my grandkids. I actually freeze those. And lots of fruit down there, lots of fruit. So I've got a ham here. I've got some different these are just bags of ice. I was using them for an ice machine for my knee replacement surgery. So this is my biggest freezer. I've got to work on getting rid of this food. I have just got to figure out creative ways to eat it, to make use of it. It was perfectly good food that I either made or grew or picked from the trees, and we're going to make it into some spectacular meals. My very last freezer here is really just some things some hodgepodge things, some hash browns that I made from some potatoes that I had extra. I've got some TV dinners. Again, I've got some individual meals. I think these are chilies and some chicken, but lots of things that I've either made or grown myself, and we are going to go through every single one of these. So because freezer food doesn't last quite as long as canned food, my goal is to go through those freezers first. But let me show you what I've got in the way of canned goods. So these are my canned goods that I did over the summer here. I've actually got a few canned goods from last year, but most of these I put together from the summer. I've got all kinds of different things. I've got peaches and tomatillo sauce. I've got lots of pickles and apricots and just tons and tons of cans. I'd say I probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 jars of food. Now these I don't have to go through as quickly as I have to go through the freezer goods. So I am going to work on these, but my goal isn't to go through these as fast. These can last quite a while, actually several years. Now my goal in this video is really just to talk to you about ways that you can utilize your preserved food throughout the winter. Now for me, I'm going to be making lots of soups and stews and casseroles, and of course I've got all those wonderful salsas and pickles and all kinds of tons and tons of fruit. So another thing I wanted to show you is something that I recently bought through the holidays that I'm going to be utilizing a lot of my fruit with. Now I showed this in another video. This is a Ninja Creamy. I actually bought the Ninja Deluxe Creamy. And what this is, it's a, it's kind of an ice cream maker, slushy maker, coffee, you know, kind of like a cremachino type of thing, you know, a frozen drink. You can just make all kinds of things in this Ninja Creamy. And I plan on taking a lot of my fruit, thawing it out, putting it through the food processor or the blender, and turning it into sorbet. I think that's going to be a great way to utilize some of my fruit between now and the beginning of summer. These are some of the fruits that I have frozen, ready to use in the creamy. I think these were some Alberta peaches that I put through the food processor. I'm going to turn that into some sorbet. I've got some peaches that I chopped up that I'm going to be putting in and making some sorbet, and I think it's going to be really good. So I think sometimes we get so caught up in our gardening and our preserving and our canning and freezing and dehydrating and all those things we do that we forget that we need to eat those foods. And sometimes it's just more than we can eat. Now, if you're storing those foods for trying to have extra on hand in case of an emergency, that type of thing, I mean, that's a great thing to do. And canned goods will really work for that. This is a wonderful way to bring down your grocery bill. And also, if you don't use pesticides and things like that, if you just work on doing organic fruit trees and organic garden, you're going to be putting a lot healthier food into your own body. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Between now and summer, I'm going to be putting together several meals that are going to be straight from the garden, straight from my fruit trees, and they're going to be things that I have on hand that I've preserved, and I'm going to show you ways that I'm going to cut my grocery bill by using those items. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it's a motivation if you're thinking of starting a garden in the next couple months or planting some trees that might give you something back. Feel free to follow some of the things I do. If I can give you some ideas or motivate you to do that, I hope that I can. It's not only a lot of fun, it's super healthy and a great way to cut savings. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, ring the bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.